Hello, everybody. It's your old friends at Nerds or Us, and welcome to another episode of Watch Graps with me. Lads, this is officially our 10th episode. It's very exciting. We reached our 10th anniversary, and it's a celebration. We're doing, well, I say celebrations. It doesn't really have anything to do with 10 at all. It's not a Ty Dillinger special, so you can all relax, lads. There's not enough Sean Spears matches to go around for 4 people. But nevertheless, we are... What we are doing this
spear
week,
you weekly anyway, that's for sure.
No, he's just weak general. Nevertheless,
jeez, what did Sean Spears do to you? Fucking hell!
Nevertheless, he's a cod, Bill. He's a fucking cod. All right. Now you've exposed me for a Sean Spears anti-stand that I am. Anyway,
I was gonna say.
I didn't. You know what? This is what Sean Spears does to people. I didn't realize I hated him until you mentioned them. That's what he fucking does to people. Right? Anyway, moving on to what we're doing here, right? So, we have decided to do a tag team special here on Watch Graps with me, and we thought the best way of doing that was get an actual tag team in to do it. Now, we've had a few candidates, but they all said no. So we got in Phil and Cutter, the Nelson brothers.
Thank you.
Yes,
nice.
That's why it's number 10, because you're a 10th option.
I was going to say we were 10 down the list. Fucking hell.
We were number 10 on a list of 5.
Yeah.
Fucking Club Rock Shandy cancelled on us in the last minute, the bastards. I tell you.
Hell.
They're on a
Fucking
sugar high,
wild.
that's what it is.
Yeah. It's quite literally a hurt business.
We owe everything we have to Club Rock Shandy.
Exactly. Which is why we're all drinking Club Rock Shandy right now, right, guys?
Completely.
No. Anyway, moving on. Yes, welcome to the Nelson brothers, Phil and Cutter. Fully in gimmick today, I presume, which is why you're both wearing your training gear of beanie hats and headsets, because this is your gimmick, I understand, yeah? Just like VTuber streamers.
Pretty much.
Circus Strongman always wears a headset. Always.
Yes.
But
you have to protect your ears, lads. It's vitally important, you know.
And like clown shit
fairness,
is...
Cauliflower ear is probably the closest Cutter ever had to eating cauliflower.
Fuck you! You bitch.
You know I'm the parents' favourite.
Listen.
Yeah, it's true.
If anybody doesn't know, we're both 2 big hefty boys. So there's no point in trying to make out that we anyway healthy at all. Phil, you dickhead.
Yes, they're starting off in the brand new red meat division that's starting off in OTT after the restart. It's going to be really good.
It's going to be really good. We're the only one's going to be in there. It's going to be us standing in the ring for fucking 10 minutes.
That's all I know is Cutter thinks a salad is a small Eastern European bird.
You mean it's not? No. Is it edible?
Apparently, yeah.
Salad. These are the important questions we have to ask ourselves. But yes, obviously we have Phil in with his brother Cutter to talk about tag teams. So we're going to start off actually with Cutter this week, because again, this is all about either our favorite tag teams of all time, or in my case, a tag team I'm really enjoying at the moment. So Cutter, let's start off with you. Let's go all the way back to 1992.
Yeah. So the reason I picked this match, it may not be their best example of what they can do. So the team that I'm kind of nominating for, in my opinion, not only my favorite team, but the best team of all time is the Road Warriors. I chose this match not necessarily because it's their best match, because if you go back a bit further into the 80s and stuff, you'll find stuff like with Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard and all that stuff that could arguably be better examples of it. But this match for me was one that it wasn't the first match I had seen from them, but it was the one that sticks with me the most. And it was Legion of Doom versus Money Inc. SummerSlam 92. And it's linked to the whole, like, if you see Road Warriors entrance at that, and you're a kid, you're like, oh my God, they're the coolest fuckers in the world. Come out, they're on their motorbikes, all these spikes and stuff, and it's unreal. So Money Inc. had Jimmy Hart in their corner as well. And basically, I think in the match itself, they told a great story. They just told, which, as you know from previous episodes I've been on and stuff, I'm a sucker for being able to physically tell a story in the ring.
Yes.
And I think in this match, they really do that.
Yeah, and of course it's important to note as well that this is a very special SummerSlam because this was the one in Wembley, so it was all Britished up. And boy, I'd never thought you'd pack out Wembley with wrestling fans, but fuck me, they really did, and it looks brilliant. It's so good when we see it back now. I got it in fully HD, and it looks beautiful. It really does.
And you know something as well, because, and it's a shame that they don't really do kind of any of the big fours, and they didn't really do it from the. Because they did it in Britain and they didn't get it that much, the crowd are just electric the whole event. They add to it so much as well. But obviously, for the purposes of this, I won't be judging on the crowd. But,
no, of course not. Of course not. We are, again, much like the last episode we did, we're kind of doing this through the lens of LOD, as it were, of their work. And as is the case for all of our matches, we're doing them for a reason, to pick out their efforts in particular. So yes, I am going to get us set up here, lads. So unfortunately for you guys at home, you won't be able to see this part of it, but the rest of us at home will be. So
because if you were, this video will be taken down at about 0.7 seconds flat.
Well, actually, it lasted like maybe like it lasted a grand total of like a minute. So yeah, it was an all-time record, in fairness.
Yeah, WWE don't fuck around when it comes to finding shit on YouTube.
No, they do not. They really fucking don't. So with that in mind, lads, we're starting off well. We got Ico Pro on screen here.
Ico Pro. Do you remember Ico Pro, Kev?
Yes.
You seem like the type that ate a lot of Ico Pro. And yes, I mean ate it.
Yes. Oh boy.
Like dry from the fucking bucket, just scooping it out into your mouth.
Just doing lines of it like they used to do.
Supposed to tell people I used to do that as a kid.
Yeah.
Doing lines of it, fuck. Imagine chopping up Ico Pro and snorting.
You know for a fact someone has tried. You know for a fact.
Fucking hell, of course they have.
Yeah.
You see somebody with a really jacked nose.
Let's lose it. So, with that in mind, Cutter, do you mind counting us in and let's get the show on the road?
3, 2, 1, go.
Excellent. So, hopefully that's enough.
Vinnie Mac on commentary.
Yes. So I have a treat here. Because it's the show open, I included the introduction.
Oh my god, look at those pants.
I think this haircut's going to be in Ultimate Warrior's Corner today.
Oh man,
Warrior sounds different.
I used to do that. I used to paint my face like Warrior.
Mm-hmm. But this is the point you were saying, like, these people were just, like, rapid for when it came over here, you can imagine just, like, the tickets just sell like hotcakes. Because it did feel like there was a full-time only.
That's what I mean. And it was the fact it was one of the big four. Like, it was a big event. It wasn't just like Insurrection or something like that. It was one of their big pay-per-views.
Oh, well, by the way, we did get the famous kid there from Botchamania. The British Bulldog's going to win, whether he wants to or not. Whatever he's doing now, I hope he's doing well.
Who? British Bulldog? Because he's not doing well at all.
Oh, lads, I forgot about the lads blowing the horns in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really love doing that.
Jez, there's Foxy. Haven't heard you in a while.
I'm surprisingly quiet this time.
There's the Queen rushing to Wembley Stadium.
Yeah. I hope they got my
She
box.
loves the Graps.
Yeah.
She loves the Graps.
Sure, it's actually common knowledge that one of the Queen's favorite hobbies is watching poor people wrestle for money. So it was actually true.
She's like Vince McMahon. She loves big, hairy guys, like muscular guys.
Look at that. Jesus Christ. It has been a long time since I saw this.
Yeah, it's unreal.
It is mental to see, like, the crowd. Like, remember crowds? I fucking remember crowds.
I forgot just how big that setup was.
Yeah, Jesus, me too. Fucking hell.
This is old Wembley, of course, so it's even somehow bigger than the new one.
You know what I'm actually more surprised about? They got the weather.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, it is England after all. Like, they're just as bad as the Irish. They get piss and rain.
Yeah, it held out for the whole event, didn't
everything. Yeah. That's
what I mean. What a goddamn setup. We have Bobby Heenan and Vinnie Mac on commentary. Yeah.
Heenan looking absolutely fabulous.
The only thing royal about you is you're a royal.
Crown is just ridiculous on him.
Yeah.
Shut up, Vince. You're not Gorilla.
The Ultimate Warriors are he going to be in the corner of the Macho Man? Woo! Exactly. We're ready.
Yes,
Bobby's drunk.
I thought it was actually Lord Albert Hayes was the one that was doing commentary on this.
And
He
is he
would be.
doing backstage?
Well, I think
Possibly.
from some of it, yeah.
Look at the length of that entranceway.
Yeah.
Mm,
Jesus.
Lads, I'd be blown up by the time I got down there.
I think IRS was.
There's Bray's daddy.
Yeah. Still weird to think that came from that.
What's also
Man.
crazy is that, like, even to this day, DiBiase's still living the gimmick.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, he is.
That's his value has
Jimmy
dropped
Hart's suit.
significantly. Like $1 million back then was very different to $1 million now.
Jimmy Hart's suit is fucking amazing.
Mm.
One of the little things that, like, he would change his suit depending on who he's managing.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Well, he's that much of a turncoat, it kind of made sense he did change clothes all the time.
But like you've seen a lot more of that this time as well. I remember like obviously Rick Rude was famous for, you know, depending on who he was feuding with, he'd customize
The
his
tights.
tights.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jake Roberts, of course, famously.
Yeah, he had Jake Roberts' wife on it. He had Warrior on it before as well. He's done it a few times. It was brilliant.
Fact that if you British tax cheats would pay your fair share, you wouldn't put the burden on the
He was an absolute heat seeker.
I was going to say it was like one line about taxes and everyone booed. It was like,
Well, in
pantomime.
fairness, lads,
Yeah. It's just that music, man. It just instills it in me.
This is brilliant.
Look at this for an entrance. Ignore the puppet. Fuck that
I
puppet.
love it. He just can't see anything with the puppet in front of him.
Interesting fact about this one. I can't remember. It's either Hawk or Animal, but one of themselves burns their leg really badly here.
On the way down, yeah.
I
Yeah,
think that was Hawk.
I think it might have been Hawk. When he's getting off, he burns his leg really badly, but completely no sells it because it's fucking Hawk.
Talk, yeah.
And goes
I'll
dramatic.
kind of skip the whole selling part of wrestling training.
But imagine standing on the end of an alleyway and all you see is those two fucking headaballs coming down like on motorbikes towards you. It's like, so this is how I die.
Not even that, but
That's
even the
why
more, like,
I think.
even the
Go
more
on, John.
surrealist part of having like Paul Ellering with a little ventriloquist doll talking to you through the whole process, like it's fucking Twin Peaks.
Yeah, I was never a fan of Rocco. I'm not gonna lie, I was never a fan of Rocco, but I mean,
Was this
It's
just
just-
to, like, appeal to, like, kids?
it was
Was it?
it was like they were trying to put like a new. You have to remember at this stage, Road Warriors have been around a long ass time. At this stage,
Yeah.
I
and
know.
they were trying to put like a fresh spin on it. I think,
So
Like-
Rocco was their Scrappy Doo, is what you're trying to say.
kind of, and it's like when they tried to do it again. Remember with Sonny and LOD 2000.
Yes.
It's kind of trying to fix something that's not broken. I mean, look at Hawk and Animal. You two just big scary fuckers. You don't really need to do much with them.
No. But it didn't hurt to have Sonny by their side.
Oh God, no.
Contrast.
I still remember hearing Hawk in an interview before explaining their hairstyles. He's like, so Animal has a single mohawk and I have a twin mohawk. So when we put our heads down, we kind of plug into each other.
That's
That's the kind of promos we need nowadays.
Phrasing.
Funny because when we go down and put our heads together, we look like an arse.
And with our arse powers combined.
Shouting to this capacity crowd. Over 80,000.
It's also a very rare occasion that, like, DiBiase is wearing white.
Yeah,
Yes. And
That's actually true, yeah.
Yeah.
it's all white.
It was usually black and gold.
Mm.
Chop him. Chop that Hawk right to
No, fuck you, it's Hawk. He's not going to sell for you, dickhead.
Yeah, I was just saying that. It's like,
You made your
just like-
first mistake.
what? Oh, did you do something?
Where am I?
Very nice.
am
You see,
waiting
I
for
like
this.
the little things like that sell from DiBiase. He's like, not fucking with you. Getting out of here.
Here, I believe. It's look out. What a cheap shot that was. I believe DiBiase was trying to break the momentum you made reference to earlier.
Like a little thing like that, like you're basically giving them the shine right off the bat.
Yeah.
Because you're showing the intimidation.
But at the same time, you're giving yourself, like you're getting your heat, but you're also giving them the opportunity to get their pop on you.
Exactly. You're hurting nobody doing that because you're keeping up with your heel character, showing that like you're like, oh no, you're cowarding away.
It purely, like it doesn't take away from the match whatsoever.
No.
Everyone benefits from it. It's good psychology.
This is a point I was I said to Kev before. It's like, and it's something that is missing in wrestling nowadays is teams like Road Warriors that essentially never split up. They're a team for life, and that's it.
Yeah.
Untouched. Now I know obviously that's not necessarily always the team's choice, is Booker and whatever, but when you're a team that long, it's impossible to not have chemistry, to not know what the other person's doing at all times and be able to feed with it.
But not only that, stay together so long and not grow to hate each other in the process.
Yeah, not to get sick of each other and want to do it by yourself.
Because, like, unfortunately, that is the case.
Yeah.
No matter how good you get on and how much chemistry, like, if you're together, like, for several years at a time, and that's the only person you're with, you're going to get sick of them.
I think it was kind of different when the likes of Road Warriors, etc., were coming up because obviously they came up through the territories. So you could kind of work as much or as little as you wanted to. You know, if you wanted to take a month's break, you could take a month away from each other if you wanted to. But, I mean, if you're in WWE or anything like that, obviously everybody's heard about their hectic road schedule.
Yeah, it's non-stop.
You're not really going to get a break from each other. That I think there's a fine line where you can be close and you can be friends and all that stuff, but you do need to allow yourself to be apart and have your own individual shit as well. Otherwise, like you said, it's very easy to just start to dislike each other.
I think it's also the case now because when you kind of said that, I kind of thought of the likes of the Dudleys, for example, where like people remember them as a duo anyway, but both of them do have had singles work themselves, and some were very forgettable and some actually wasn't, you know, and it all depends on the kind of context. But I still think like the first thing that comes to mind is the Dudley boys. It doesn't translate to Bully Ray first and then them second. Likewise with the Hardys in a way. But somewhere like Edge and Christian, for example, probably could find them a single stars first rather than the tag team now at this point because he's had such good runs in that sense. And probably the likes of like the Brothers of Destruction and stuff like that as well would be another example. That was brilliant, by the way, by IRS.
Beautiful.
Fucking brilliant.
But you see, this is one of the things I love about this, and we'll actually see it with Kev's match as well. One thing I love is if you look at what Road Warriors and even what Money Inc. are doing, there's nothing flashy happening. There's nothing overly complicated has happened.
No. It's all very simple.
There's very, very simple, but it doesn't need to be because you have two big beasts in there against two cowardly heels. You can tell your story without having to be fancy about it.
That's things like what they're doing well.
Exactly.
Yeah. But this is the opening of the show as well. Like they're not designed to like feel the show. They are designed to get the crowd into a good.
They know their role.
Yeah, exactly, that's exactly it, Foxy. They know their position is to warm up the crowd, get them going, not to outshine somebody later on.
Hawk is dead, by the way.
But even without that, like it's not really any wasted motion. Like. What they are doing is very basic and simple stuff. So it's very hard not to have a solid match with that.
That's what I mean. And that's what Kev was saying there, is if you look at the stuff they're doing, it's simple, but they do it all very well. So, it's just a follow-on clothesline into the corner and whip him out. But he makes it look like he nearly took his damn head off in the corner and whips him out.
Yeah.
You know, there's a difference between just going through the motions and making those motions look impactful.
In fairness, though, with Hawk doing something like that, he
probably was,
did nearly
to
take
be
someone's
fair.
head off
Yeah,
with that
okay.
clothesline.
I stand corrected.
But no, I'm noticing here though, it's the fact that like Hawk isn't really like he's not flying like 90 miles an hour. He's actually moving slow and deliberate, and
Yeah.
so that way he's not gassed out like too quick.
Yeah,
Exactly.
That's something that like all these rest holds are literally just like, okay, catch your breath, right? Can we go? Grand.
lads,
Work up.
I just love the dirty little bit of
Look
double
at
team
this.
that the lads that
Beautiful.
Money Inc. are doing. Just pushing the other dude's foot to put extra leverage into the sleeper. It's just so fucking smart.
But even
And
look
then
at the
switching behind the
communication
rest back.
between the two teams there. Animal knows exactly when to come in to do the ref distraction, to let them swap over and do another little cheap spot.
Like, no offense, Foxy, but you would absolutely fall for what Money Inc. just did there. You totally would.
Which?
Like,
Sorry?
you would totally fall for what Money Inc. did there, switching around on the back on the rest back is turn. You would.
That's
Yeah,
the trick is you walk over behind the ref and just go.
That's what they did.
It works every time.
Mm.
So it's a little bit choppy on my side, so I
Yeah.
didn't actually see them do that.
Yeah, yeah. it's fine.
No, good. When they had him in rest hold, what Money Inc. were doing was Animal would come in. So they did the old thing where they got in, put another rest hold on. Animal came in, try break it up, and then they just started swapping who was putting on the rest hold. But whoever got back out would just go, and that was it. So that they could kind of do it fast
Mm.
and keep switching the person around.
I mean, like,
here we go.
It's like, as I said, it's very deliberate what he does. But I mean, like, it means that when he actually explodes with all this like speed and power, like everyone is gonna
Exactly.
come on board for it.
This is what is leading into it, right? This whole time, right, since Hawk's been getting beaten down, this is obviously all building to the big hot tag.
Yeah.
Right? And they're just milking it. And I think they're doing a really, really good job of milking it. Like
They have the crowd in their hand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're milking it. They know that people are itching to see him get that hot tag to Animal. He comes in like a house of fire and cleans house. But they're not giving it to him just yet when you'd be so tempted to do it early, you know?
And not only that, with this being an opener, you don't really have any need for like the managers to get involved because it's an opener.
Exactly.
At most, they might do a little like, hey, look over here.
Maybe for the finish or something, but that's it. Like,
when Mouth to the South, it's just on the megaphone. That's all he needs to do.
Yeah, it's a distraction in itself. I still find it funny that the puppet is on a chair watching.
Yeah. Of course he is.
Look at it. I always loved this particular spot. You'd never see this again. I haven't seen this in I don't know how many years, this particular one where, you know, you go for the suplex and he stops him and then he starts slowly inching his way over, but he never gets, you know, it's brilliant.
Anytime you're on like
character that's a strong man, that's a good way of getting him across. You're able to power out of the suplex. Just push it. You've overpowered the suplex and you're just pushing him.
Yeah, exactly. Again, but then it's a great cut-off way to do it as well, is that the other partner comes in, breaks it up, and then it's a great way of building up the hot tag, which, as I said, now they have a double down.
But that spot there where like they got the tag, but the ref was distracted. It was just
brilliant.
So well done.
Yeah, and he's finally in.
There you go.
The crowd has come fucking unglued.
This is a great shot of the crowd as well. I love this angle. I don't know what it is. It's such a sea of people.
Listen to that. The crowd are going mental.
Yeah.
I forgot how good Animal's dropkick was, considering the size of him.
Yeah. Him and IRS have some fucking weaknesses. Fair play.
That double clothesline.
Beautiful.
Like a pure tank.
It's the Robert Roode's fucking cell. It's like, drop, fly out of there.
Look at this. Now you start beating him with the double teams. Beautiful.
I mean, not going on for longer than it should.
No.
Literally, like, in couple spots.
Oh!
It's a drop kick. Very nice.
And that accidental electric chair.
Yeah. There's that little switch that like IRS does on the
into the partner.
apron.
Power slam. And also didn't finish it with the Doomsday device, which was a bit unique for it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it came out of nowhere a little bit.
I still always love it because like I've seen it a few times from like LOD's matches where like Hawk would go to get out. He'd literally be halfway out and then go back in. It's like just to make it look legit.
Keep Hawk out. Ellering was running around. Got a little wooden dummy. It wasn't fair. It's just not fair.
See, this is the point I was making at the start was there's better Road Warrior matches, right? That was, as far as match in general, a pretty simple, connect the dots match. Nothing crazy, nothing spectacular, pretty by the book. But the story they told from the get-go, you knew exactly what was happening. Exactly straight away the motivations. And again, I said this last time I was on Watch Graps. If you just tuned into that and that was your first time ever seeing those two teams, you knew exactly who those two teams were and what they stood for by watching the match for 2 minutes. You knew that Money Inc. were the cowardly, dastardly champs and they were cheating their way and they didn't really want to fight them fairly. And you knew then the two powerhouses were just looking for that opportunity to come in and just bruise people. Like that's what I mean by knowing less is more. They didn't need to do much crazy shit to get their point across.
Bearing in mind, of course,
why I
it's
love it.
still the open of the show. You don't have to push the boat out that much.
Exactly. Yeah. And I wish we've talked about this before. More people could take a lesson from that book.
Definitely.
Earn your spot on the card, man.
Yep.
So now it's a matter of scoring then. So like I said, we're going to judge this, and I suppose this kind of little mini league of tag teams we've nominated here. We'll see which one wins out. So who wants to take first bat on this on the scoring?
Well, I'm obviously exempt, so
naturally.
So I think I'll go. So like I'm going to give that an 8. And
okay.
The reason why I do it is because it's a very, very solid, straight back and forward match. Like Dennis said, like Cora said, it's like you know who they are straight away from the first 2 minutes. You know who's heel, who's face.
Yep.
But they kept it so simple, not going 90 miles an hour when they didn't need to. There was no messing about on the outside with the managers. It was the open contest. So, yeah. And everything that was done in the ring is very, very solid and simple. So, yeah, that's why I give it an 8.
Fair enough. I suppose for me, I fucking love the entrance. It's a weird thing. The weird thing, I kind of love the entrance more than the match because like that got LOD over more to me than anything else. The three of them just
that's
coming
fair.
out.
That's fair.
Coming out like the fucking biker mice from Mars, like as early 90s as you can. It's great. That to me got the character over a little bit more than the match did. Like for me, like for this match, I was more enjoying like IRS's work, the way he was bumping around and just diving around. He did some great work in this match. Hawk was all over the shop.
Remember to cut Hawk some slack. Remember, I wasn't joking. He did have very serious leg burns.
Oh yeah, no. In fairness, like you can kind of see it. He's very
he got on the entrance. So I do say that.
In that regard, yeah. And but even then, like they still went through the match and they did tell the story they wanted to tell and it served its purpose. I do think that it was missing a Doomsday device, which is a shame. I think they wrapped it up just a little minute too early. If they had the Doomsday device, that was the perfect way to send that crowd into eruptions and send them off into the next match perfectly. So for that, I'll probably have to take a point off it. So I'd say I'm going to give this a 7.
Fair.
Because again, like I think again it was a good match where it was solid opener to a good pay-per-view. Just needed the Doomsday device for the coup de grace. That was it really. Otherwise it was perfectly serviceable.
In your opinion, just before we get to my lovely big brother, in your guys' opinion, given their place on the card opening a huge event, do you think that maybe not hit? I understand your point, Jonathan, but maybe not hitting the big pop move would lend itself to helping, say, the following match. I'm trying to think, would that hype up the crowd more, or does that leave them wanting? I'm not really sure.
if it was in America, I'd understand not hitting it. But being that it's in England, they should have finished with that.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah,
That
because
was going to be my argument.
Because that's what people know them for, and that's what people expect to see.
That's fair.
And
So-
it's
So
the
you kinda-
first time they've done the big four in the UK.
Yeah.
So I think it would have been the cherry on top just to finish off that opening match for the first big event there.
Exactly. Like, you can imagine that, like, there's maybe 80,000-90,000 people there, and a good percentage of them are kids, right? You can imagine they have the fucking disposable cameras there. They're on their dad's shoulders, waiting for the finisher. Like, they're doing the doomsday themselves on the shoulders, waiting for it to happen, and it's a quick 3 count. Like, everyone's delighted, but that lasting memory isn't there for them.
That's fair.
You can imagine everyone will have that picture of them hitting the doomsday device, and they'd love LOD for forever and ever. They still do, obviously, but it didn't give a lasting memory themselves. But then again,
I suppose I was just trying to think of why they may have decided not to do it.
I think it was probably because like they didn't want to pop the crowd too early and then leave the next match at a disadvantage.
Yeah.
But either way, I
It
don't
could be
think
a couple of different reasons. It could be because like they didn't want to like take away from another match, but could also be because of Hawk being not as mobile.
They may have had to make a call on the fly. Actually, that's true too.
Yeah, fair point.
And I mean, with teams that are as kind of seasoned as they all were, there wouldn't have really been an issue to change a finish on the fly. Like,
no, very true.
Once the same result happened, then it's no issue then.
Yeah. Sorry, Phil, I interrupted your scoring. Go ahead.
So because they are your favorite tag team, I'm giving them a 2.
Yeah, fuck you.
No, I'm going along the same thought pattern as Jonathan on it. I'm going with a 7. My reasoning behind it is like they have the look, they had the entrance, they had the crowd, but what they were missing is for the powerhouse tag team that they are, there was such a limited amount on double team by them that I just felt like they were lacking on that point, and it did need the Doomsday device, I feel, just because of that. Like the only double team they really did was the whip into the corner. You know, it wasn't.
Yeah.
There wasn't enough of what they were really known for. With
I can't help but agree with you in the fact that like Foxy knows this, and Jonathan knows this as well. But myself and like we're big fans of double team moves in general. Like so yeah, I do have to agree with you on that. Is that one of the things they really did have was some really nice double teams that they'd bust out occasion.
Yeah.
And
I will say I was going to give them a 6 on that ground, but considering the fact that we're the Burns going in, I gave them the 1 extra to put them at 7 because that could have been part of what hindered it. But
yeah,
that is my score.
Cool, very good. So Dennis starts off our show with a score of 22 out of 30. A decent start, in fairness, but we'll see how it prevails throughout the show. So we are going right into our time machine, all the way to the magical year of 2006, where SmackDown versus Raw games were plaguing the PlayStation 2, and people were still trying to figure out what the Divas division was. But in this time, Foxy brings us to his match.
Yeah, so my choice for tonight was the
I'm so psyched.
Four-way ladder match.
Gore!
And in it involves like the teams of Fit Finley, Dave Taylor and William Regal, Eminem, Joey Mercury, and Johnny Nitro at the time, the Paul London and Brian Kendrick, and the Hardy Boys. So like that's like you got young teams as well as very major veterans in that match. Like, but all it was originally with the storyline going into it, it was going to be just a singles tag team ladder match, and then Ted Long came out and added two more teams players because he loves tag team matches, and yeah, because it was Christmas time as well. But yeah, this is also like now for me, I'm picking the team of like Paul London and Brian Kendrick because at the time they were my legitimate favorite tag team because I did consider them like a younger version of Matt and Jeff Hardy, and but with flashier stuff, which I was kind of liking at that time. And to have them all go into a ladder match, I was just like, yeah. Strange enough, it was the one pay-per-view that I missed when, like, during the period of when I was watching all, like, Raw, SmackDown, and the pay-per-views. This was the only pay-per-view that I missed. And then I find out, like, the next day, it's like, did you watch it last night? No. Oh, you missed it.
Because,
like,
of course, it does have one of the all-time
nastiest.
most famous botches ever. Which I'm really looking forward to seeing again.
You're going to get your fucking money's worth out of this, I'll say that much. But yeah. So yes, we are at Armageddon 2006. Obviously, the show, you can watch these on some of these on Daily Motion. But yeah, by all means, if you have a network subscription, you can watch along with us either way. But Foxy, it's time for you to count us in.
So just to specify before you start, we are only grading London and Kendrick, right?
Yes.
Okay. How they do in this match exactly?
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So 3, 2, 1, engage.
I like it. Incidentally, the pacing of this match was this show was quite strange, as I now remember, because the first match the match he opened with was the MVP Kane Inferno.
You don't give a damn. Teddy Long doesn't give a damn.
And this was also the same card that Kennedy versus Undertaker, the last white match.
What we witnessed here.
Ooh, he actually did go on fire.
Yeah.
Right in his arse.
And this is where we start off tonight's show. Right, you think that's fucked up? What's
great last night? That's what it was.
Yeah.
Has just maybe done now.
Look at that, like. I still remember like the time that Paul London just fully slid across the whole ring.
Yeah. He slid out the other side.
Yeah.
I did a fucking Crash Bandicoot on ice.
Wow. I mean, they had a great entrance, good look. I really like their moveset, and I mean, they were made tag team. A lot of the tag teams at the time.
I think the masks just I don't like for the entrance. I thought they were kind of they look too cheap.
Yeah, I did find it funny because when you watch their
I completely forgot Dave Taylor was a thing.
Yeah. Look at that widow's peak, lads. You love to see it.
He looks like William Regals after getting bullied, and he's like, "I'm bringing me dad now."
He's taking off my wrestling, but Robbie Dad wrestling as well. So fuck you.
But like
that's my
the fact that like both Regal and Taylor are afraid of heights.
Yeah.
Like didn't want to go
I did not know that.
I genuinely think Dave Taylor forgot his ring gear, and he actually borrowed it from like one of the like classic Russians of the 80s.
I was gonna say he got it from like Nikita Kozlov or fucking something.
Yeah.
Oh, holla, holla, holla.
Lads, we couldn't do a tag team special without Teddy Long.
I love how Teddy Long's suits always look like he had to borrow them from his dad for the Debs.
He looks like he's getting buried in it.
He always reminds me of Gary Coleman.
I ain't touching that.
But you know what? I've got another present for you, and I'm going to give it to you right now. This WWE
yeah, a real show of time, folks. Hey, it's 2006. Let's see an arse.
Now going to be a ladder match. A ladder match?
I will say, like, it's only kind of in my later life that I started appreciating properly, and I think a lot of people are saying people like Regal and Taylor who could legit tie you the fuck up and stretch you if they wanted to.
Yeah.
And tough as nails. But back then, you know, I suppose didn't rate them as highly because they weren't as flashy.
Yeah.
But they were more old school. But now old school's my shit. Like, old school's the way I like it now, you know?
That was why I picked the team I picked for tonight.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Stay tuned for part 2 for that.
Now, you know what? I'm just a gift that just keeps on.
That's what I loved. I love the grin on Kendrick's face there because come back to us. And then he goes, "Oh, you're adding 2 more teams in this? Shit!"
What? Now
I still remember when I was watching this live, and you're like, you see the loop above the ring for a ladder match, and you're like, why is that there? There's no ladder matches.
Get around the ladder, lads. That carpet needs to get out, for fuck's sake.
Come on, man. Melina's there. Come on, people. Gimmick.
I love that team. They were a great team.
This is the weird thing of like the nostalgia hasn't. I know this like 15 years ago. But nostalgia hasn't quite kicked. It's that kind of thing when you do look back at a pay-per-view like this and go, yeah, there were actually like good stuff back then. It's just like it's almost as if like it's in on this dead space where like it's not recent enough. There's no recency bias, but it's also not like classic enough to properly push over. It's a weird situation. But yeah, like there was good rosters back then. No, good teams.
But I with M&M, like I liked their gimmick. I liked the whole thing. And I thought that Joey Mercury and John Morrison were like they were really good at pulling it off, or Johnny Nitro at the time. Sorry, were really good at like pulling it off. In general, they just had this smug, arrogant thing kind of down pat, you know.
I think the fans are making their voice known. The tag titles hanging over the ring.
I wouldn't mind as well. Like I don't know if this is on gold to say, but
there's loads of teams,
and even like the Dudleys were without doubt one of the best of all time.
There's arguments to be made for a lot of teams for a lot of different reasons, kind of, and a lot of it obviously is subjective.
And remember,
what
like
style you enjoy.
You have to remember like great teams like the Killer Bees, the Fabulous Rougeau brothers. And I'll never forget the commentary for them, how they have a distinct advantage because they can speak French to each other. Believe that was
Los Conquistadores.
I think that one about speaking French to each other was Jesse the Body Ventura's vast wisdom.
Vast wisdom of a foreign language is better to explain in English.
Man, the Hardys were over as fuck.
Oh,
I say that as if I'm surprised. They were always over.
Yeah.
Well, it's actually a big deal because if I'm not mistaken, M&M were on the Raw brand, and Hardys and the Hardy brothers were split.
Split, that's right. Yeah.
That was on SmackDown and that was on Raw. So the fact that they were teaming up just for Armageddon was kind of a big deal.
I'm not quite sure. I think I remember reading somewhere there was a reason behind it, and I can't quite remember what it was. That they kind of they put them back together specifically. Obviously, they probably needed to fill a spot. Maybe they had an idea for a different team in there, and it didn't work out.
Well, this is probably the reason. I mean, Hardys versus London and Kendrick is a bit of a generation game there. Isn't it? Like, you know, it'll take 5 years.
Oh.
Two Flippy Boys against the original Flippy Boys, in a sense.
To a degree, but you know, I never considered the Hardy Boys to be flippy dippy.
No, they weren't that. Now they were more like they were like the TLC crowd. They were just doing the.
I love this move.
Oh, it's a beautiful move.
I love that move. It looks like it's fucking horrible to take, but let's face it, me and Finn, neither of us are ever going to take that. We're going to be given that shit.
You don't need to worry about that.
There's no doubt that Jeff Hardy's not 100%.
Yeah, it looks like a.
People are so excited that the Hardys
have no way of actually protecting themselves.
That's what I mean. They've caught your hands and your feet, so you're kind of hooked up. So all you can do literally is tuck and hope for the best.
You're just going where they're putting you. That's all that is like.
All you can do is tuck that chin and hope that it's not too fucking bad.
I still can't get over like London and Kendrick's pleathers. Like you could fit 3 people into one pair.
I would say it's just like it is the most indie gear, and I love it.
But you see, Hardy's kind of started. That was back at a time when you could take a trip to Hot Topic and you would be a wrestler.
Now that looks like their parents bought them, clothes for school, and they want the uniform to last for 3 years.
Yeah. Okay, guys, we're bulking up soonish. We'll be able to grow into them. I'm trying to think how many I'm trying to think now. There's a good number of Irish wrestlers who copied that look. Back then.
Oh, there are even more who copied the Hardys. I mean,
yeah.
Jesus Christ.
and just one who
To tell you
copied
the
it.
truth, like I'm fine with it if it's like a gimmick thing, generally. But I mean, there was a point in time. It's not as bad now. There was a point in time where it just began to look hokey as fuck because everybody was just coming to the ring in jeans and a t-shirt. And it's just like,
Yeah,
come on, man. You know?
that was ECW buzz as well. So
Yeah.
That was one thing I never liked was people that were wrestling and not in wrestling gear.
Now I'm fine. As I said, in certain situations, like for instance, APA, it made sense for them in certain situations to be in their jeans and their cut-off shirt with their gloves and all that. That made sense for their gimmick.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm generally fine with it if it's a gimmick thing. But if there's no valid reason for it, then buy some gear, dude. Look at that, beautiful
Snapshot. Oh, I forgot about that finish.
I forgot completely about that too. And it's actually. Can we take that, Kev?
No, we can't take that.
Fuck.
You can take it if you want.
No, I'm not taking it. I mean, steal it. God
Just
damn
leave
it.
you fucking hanging like that's all.
When I actually got to watch this back though originally, like and as I got older, I got to appreciate the story going. Like being on camera, like they're afraid of ladders. They're trying to prevent anyone from getting the ladder into the match. But at the same time, they realize that eventually we have to go up this way to get them.
Yeah.
You want to win.
It's a good story for them to be telling.
Especially like Regal is just unreal at telling a story like that.
Yeah, I mean, he's gifted at that.
Although I do love how his gear to let us know he's a heel says villain.
And no one ever did that again.
Ooh.
But London and Kendrick, it was more a case of like they're not setting up the ladder for anything other than going for that.
That was a nice. That looked nasty.
Yeah, it did.
To both and fair play to the two boys. They took some hard bumps there.
And Hardy got a knee up the coccyx there.
That was a lovely drop kick.
Yeah.
London was fucking great at that shit.
Yeah.
It's a shame, like
Shame he was a dickhead. Sorry, Foxy, your mic's a bit low there.
yeah, it's a shame.
I didn't catch that, man. Sorry.
Didn't hear you at all, dude.
Oh! Are we getting to the spot?
No, not yet.
No, not yet.
I know there is that level of anxiety that you get
Whenever Mercury picks up a ladder.
That was nasty as well.
Oh!
Yeah.
No,
Oh! I didn't see that angle before.
isn't he outside the ring when that happens?
Now, can you hear me?
I think so, but I just seen. Did you see that fucking thing Nitro took onto the side of the ladder?
Yeah.
Yep.
Right in his hip.
Yeah, that's a nasty spot.
Oh, this is good.
Oh!
Oof.
Just ow.
Ooh!
That's
Okay.
the fear that be going through your eyes as that's happening.
Yes.
I actually didn't know that Morrison was outside there for a minute. I was like, oh my god, is he going to take a free fall to the outside?
That's more of a Jeff Hardy thing to do.
Yeah.
Or Christian.
Yeah,
would
Christian
always take
too,
those
yeah.
balls.
Well, Christian only when he like overshoots the rope and just ends up going, woo!
Well, Christian would do it, but somehow land on his balls.
Oh!
Oh yeah,
Land on his
like no one has split legged on a rope off a ladder more than Edge and Christian.
Yeah, that's true.
Not shot. Watch this ladder. This ladder will be important in a few minutes.
I'm beginning to remember like the setup for the spot now,
Yeah.
and I'm like pre-cringing for it.
Oh yeah, like I watched this already today, and it's just like it doesn't age well, lads. It really doesn't. Even that one there now was pretty nasty.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
mean
hard
they're
to-
all taking
yeah.
hard bumps into the ladder. Like it's just all it is literally missed timing. His hand just doesn't get up quick enough to
No.
guard his
Yeah,
face.
that's literally
That's all it is.
That's the thing about this match. It's just such a beautiful mess. Like
Yeah.
just everything. Like no one's taking snug bumps. They're not doing anything like comfortably. They're just doing it and hoping for the best. Like it's just there's just a wonderful chaos to it. And then all the while, Regal and Taylor are in this going, "What the fuck are we doing here?" Like we used to do Can we do a rest hold? Are we allowed to do rest hold?
To be fair, I think their rest hold is the fact that they've been outside for pretty much the whole match.
That's what I'm saying. They're going like, I'm not doing anything with these indie fucking marks. I'll meet you on the mats, not on the ladder. These are my only terms. And they're spanking out.
It looked like he was out waiting for a tag.
Yeah, it did. I was wondering what the fuck he was doing for a while. Oh, he is taking some real big bumps off that ladder.
Kendrick takes some fucking whopper bumps in fairness, even just throughout his career. Like,
oh, what was that?
Oh, it was like he was going for a neck breaker, but London thought he was going for
Twist of Fate.
Yeah.
He like turned his head kind of at the top of it.
Oi, suplex on the outside. Ow, ow, ow.
They never look nice.
Nah.
You know what's amazing? Nacho just gave Regal a vertical suplex.
And now Regal's kidneys are swearing at him in British.
Oh God. Oh Lord.
Literally a big suplex onto a judo mat.
Oh, I love that drop kick.
I was just gonna say one thing. I'm now only remembering London's drop kick. I did love that backflip drop kick.
That was an owie.
That was.
And now this Jerry Mercury. Isn't he having a lovely time?
He looks like this is one of his favorite matches of his career.
He's having a great day. What could possibly go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong?
And notice that he's wearing all white.
He is wearing all white, Foxy. I wonder what he'll say into it in a couple of minutes' time.
He looks like he's a bit hurt, lads.
Looks like he's about to shit himself.
I would too if I knew what was coming up next.
Yeah.
I think if he knew what was coming up next, he would have just walked away. He would have been like, nah, not today, lads.
Your nose is just going to implode on your face.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, just looking at the setup, I'm getting the flashbacks. Of when
I know.
That's why we don't...
no. Oh, Lord.
We're all just like, oh, no. Oh, no.
We're all waiting for it. We're all just waiting for it.
I forgot how good Eminem were at double teams.
Yeah.
They're really busting them out.
Oh man, they worked so well together.
Yeah. For a team that weren't together like a huge amount of time. Oh no!
Oh Lord.
Oh God. Oh, it's already like if it's gone that bad in what 2 seconds.
Oh Jesus.
Like he looks like he got murdered.
Yeah.
That looks like a blade job has been going for like 2 minutes or something. Yeah. You know what I mean? But that's
that's
2
flowing.
seconds. Oh, yeah. 2 seconds after it hits, his face is covered in blood. Oh, he didn't even get his hands anywhere up. He just took it full in the face.
He ate that ladder.
There's actually a worse angle of it coming up in like a couple of minutes time. But Jesus, yeah, like his whole...
Jesus, Joey.
Like, his eyes swell up immediately.
Yeah, but he gets in the eye as well. Like.
Yeah.
His orbital bone and his nose, and I think it's
the whiplash as well.
His cheek as well, isn't it?
Yeah, here we go. Is this the angle of it? Yeah, this is it here. Watch this.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh Christ!
Now I have to think there, right? That I just saw Regal and Taylor rush into the ring. Now, obviously, I'd say that was planned, but I'm also thinking they've probably seen what's happened. They know they're a man down for the rest of the match now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're just cooling the pace. Like,
and I'm just thinking because they're obviously the vets.
Yeah.
In that group, they're probably going to take charge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, them and the Hardys, but Regal and Taylor more so.
Yeah, like Regal and Taylor be the vets of the ring, but Hardys be the vets of a ladder match. So therefore, like in terms of the structure.
That's very good point. Very good point.
So it's handy having two teams that are gonna like take the reins when need be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's important, and one thing we've seen, like even with the two matches we've watched, even the first one as well, is it's important for somebody in there to know what to do if the shit hits the fan. Fucking hell!
I forgot about that suplex.
Jesus! I'm loving the sell. I am loving the sell.
Yeah.
Just keeping his head under the rung.
I don't think he's selling.
I think he's just fucking dead.
He's just permanently sore. It's just like everything is hurting and I can't move.
Some murders have been committed tonight.
I have to say, the more I watch William Regal back over the years, the more
Entertaining you find him.
But it's the face. It's just a
Yeah.
You do that. You do that. I'll watch. It's fine. He's brilliant. It's absolutely superb.
Turned Dave Taylor into a puppet there.
It was a push of encouragement.
Oh,
I think it was a prostate exam, to be honest.
I got flashbacks of when he got fucked out of Rumble by Triple H.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember? And he's like, "I'm sorry, I knew I fucked up. I know." Whoop! It's like,
Don't put me back in the box. Don't put me back in the box.
you literally can hear him say it because he botched his. He was meant to go over with a clothesline or something, and he botched.
Yeah.
He didn't go back far enough, and so Triple H picks him up, and you can hear Kendrick going, "I'm sorry, I know I fucked up. I'm sorry," and Triple H just fucks him over the top of the ring.
Oh, good things.
Jeff Hardy and his giant ladder.
As much as I like the Hardys and obviously they're synonymous with ladder matches, it's just the fact that their logic is basically setting up big spots as opposed to, oh wait, I have to actually win this.
Whoa!
That's just nasty.
As that is a bump I would not have wanted to try and take.
That bump could have gone so wrong.
Yeah.
Fuck
He was
me.
grand because he went a second late beforehand. Like he went before Nitro could actually kick the ladder.
Yeah,
so he actually worked it out perfectly.
All I keep thinking though is if his timing, which Jeff's timing has been off before, if his timing was off, that could have been very fucking bad.
Yeah.
Or indeed, if his foot got stuck on that rung.
Hey, that's a good point too. Yeah.
Or if he slipped.
Yeah, it's just not a bump. I know. I'm the one that would have to take it. Shut up, Phil. But either way, I wouldn't be happy about having to do it. That's the point.
Exactly.
Right.
That was a great bulldog.
I do feel for Nitro in this situation because obviously he's probably had to reevaluate his entire fucking match plan.
He's probably doing Mercury spots now as well.
Yeah.
Like he gets to break one now and he's doing the intelligence. Mercury doing these spots.
Which, for a guy who started off in Tough Enough, is
well. We've had some good innings.
Yeah.
And did you know?
He's no Maven.
Four.
You shut your whore mouth, right, about Maven, right? He was the fucking man. I miss his eyebrows every day.
I miss his music.
Yeah.
I miss when he eliminated The Undertaker.
And then he proceeded to get the shit kicked out for the next 30 minutes.
That made it all so.
Remember when you tried to do this next year?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Kendrick just took some mad bumps, though.
Yeah. Remember when Maven sold his WWE contract?
What?
That was recently.
Yeah.
He said he put his WWE contract up for sale that he still had a copy of.
Why would someone buy it?
Memorabilia.
Why would someone want to buy it?
But there's why would you want memorabilia of Maven's contract?
Dude, it's a big internet out there. There's fans of everyone.
Oh, there's people who buy the weirdest shit. Lads, do you think, considering how many ladder matches he's been in, he'd know where to set a ladder up?
Yep.
That's probably why he's been in so many. It's just like, this is funny when Jeff fucked this up. Oh.
That sunset flip was
Oh.
fantastic.
It goes back to two things. Like one, the fact that they set up for big spots rather than actually like winning the match.
That's a very fair point.
Yeah.
And the fact that like when you think of when we did the HBK Shawn Michaels, watching the ladder match, it's like just a little thing. Like, okay, we know it's our position. Why not try and reach for it?
They're doing something
Yeah.
else, yeah.
That's a good point. When we did watch, we watched Razor versus Shawn, the second ladder match, Phil, and one thing we remarked on at the time was that the ladder wasn't overused. It was more of a prop as opposed to the entire focus of every offense or anything like that. So it did, as Foxy's point, it did feel more like it made more sense. Like when Shawn would go up and it was out of reach, he'd still go and try and get it because that's what you do rather than climbing back down and moving it. Still try and get it or something, and little things like that did make it more believable. I agree. Yeah. It wasn't just a spot. Like, all right, lads, time to move the ladder over there. This spot is coming up now.
Yeah.
We talked about how tough these two are. Go, Kendrick, go. Kendrick was so close. Somehow Kendrick landed on his feet.
Oof.
Into a clothesline. And Paul London.
Off he goes.
Foley clothesline.
William Regal. Left to
I
left.
know something's coming up soon. The old sliced bread number 2.
Oh, a great move that I love.
Oh!
That was a big
What
bump for Regal to be
happened
taken.
there? Sorry,
was
that
so
was
close to
that was
murdering
skipping for
himself.
me. Did he actually hit it okay?
No.
He readjusted himself in midair so he would avoid the ropes. There could be a replay of it down in a minute.
Like
That was a big bump for Regal to take.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like that's something that shouldn't have been done. I know it seems cool, but goddamn, it's so dangerous.
He was way
you just
too.
don't
That's
have the
why
space for
when you said it to me when he was going up, I was like, he's way too close to the ropes for that shit. That needs like extension and stuff to hit it. Like you can't kind of do it up in a little cannonball. Like it has to be extended out.
They want to raise their fingers and say they're number one.
Unless you're super light.
Which Kendrick is, in fairness.
Got him.
Amazing.
Now, I will say I did like that finish in the fact that the reason I liked it was London was on top and he actually looked like he was properly scrambling, like he was trying to punch with all his might, and he really looked like he was like that kind of fever pitch. I'm here, I'm going to try get it, it made sense to me, so I did like that.
Yeah, it's a pretty hard finish to pull off because you need to be able to like rip down the titles as quick as you can.
Yeah,
so it is
yeah.
the closest to like a skin of their teeth finish you could get in this match. Where like there's two people climbing up on the ladder, he's coming over as well. Like the people are climbing up. You have to rip the ladders the titles as quick as you can, and like he did it. So it gets over the tag team the fact that yes they were very diminutive, but they still won. It was like it kind of legitimized the team. The fact that they have just beaten the Hardys in a ladder match.
Which I do like because that is an uphill battle they have, obviously because of their size, etc. And they're in there with the teams they're in there with. Look at that amount of blood is fucking unbelievable.
I was about to say the pool of blood there.
That's like Jesus.
But also,
oh no!
Here we go.
Oh, slow motion.
But the fact that it's
and not even that, they got a close up.
Oh, and slow motion. Nice. Oh, dude.
The whole nose is crushed. Like,
he smashed to bits. Like that's why I was saying it fucking imploded. Oh.
Yeah. That's why I said no.
That was stupid. That was just stupid.
Also, keep in mind that the belts weren't Velcro like they are now.
Yeah.
So a bit more difficult to get off. If we're going with scoring, are we going with scoring?
Yes, we are going with scoring. Yes.
If it's okay with you, I'll start off.
Cool.
Please do.
So I like the match in general. Obviously, it's a good match. It felt a bit hasty in places, almost kind of thrown together in ways.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I'm not going to blame Kendrick and London for that. There's 4 teams in it, so there's 4 people contributing. So if I'm concentrating on their performance alone, I did like their ability to come off as the underdogs and still kind of maintain. They get in their offense when they need to, and they do all that. They did take some major bumps that I have to give them respect for that looked very, very painful. I will dock shit for that stupid sliced bread number 2. That should not have been done, and he should have known better than to do that, or even move the fucking ladders. If you're that desperate to do the spot, move the ladder more away from the ropes. It was stupid, and he could have broke his neck. So I would dock a point for that. So in the overall scheme of things, I do think they were an integral part of the match. That's an important thing. Like, you're not getting lost in the shuffle of a match like that. So I'm going to go 7.
Okay.
Because I do think they were important to the match, but I don't know how long they were doing it at this stage, individually or whatever. I just think there were certain things were stupid and didn't need to happen that they could have done better. And I'm going to put that down to youth or whatever, but it just didn't need to happen. You could have done something much safer and gotten the same effect. So yeah, that's what I'm going with, 7.
Very well. Phil Nelson, what do you think of this match?
Foxy, you're going to hate me. I'm going to give him a 6. I think.
Sorry. It was just the lowering of the can going, the fuck you say?
Yeah. He's going to kill me for that one.
Sorry, Phil, we don't do 6s here on Watch Graphs. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Okay, you give him 6.5.
We had Fran gave us a 5 once, and he's never been on again.
Oh, in that case, I'll give it a 4.
Okay, so Phil, 6. Why 6?
So I think the very first thing is coming out to the ring. The masks looked way too cheap for champions. It looked like they went into deals and there were 2 for 150. Like, straight away, that puts me off their aesthetic, which it's a shame that it was something so small, but that put me off. There was a couple of points where you could see they were having a misconnect in the match. Like, once or twice they weren't in the right spots for each other. And I think just the amount of stupid bumps between the 2 of them that were just like, you really, you shouldn't have been taking that's career shortening kind of bumps. Definitely, like the neck breaker, whatever he thought was going on, that neck breaker where he kept turning, which just looked like that could have really done damage. And then that sliced bread at the end, just, it's like, you should know your ring awareness and what space you need to pull off your own moves. And the ladders being that close to the ropes, I just thought it was like they were too busy thinking, I'm in this huge match, as opposed to what they should do to make the match work and have it, not be as dangerous as it actually was. Like, there were some of those bumps where, like, seeing him landing awkwardly with them, and you're thinking, first thing you should know is how to bump, and you're landing on your hip, you're landing on your shoulder, you're out of place. So yeah, it's kind of harsh of a score, but these are just things that really, to me, if you don't look right on your entrance, you're already going to be like just falling straight down, because that's everyone's first glimpse of you.
Interesting. Yeah, I suppose like some of that kind of fits into my thinking as well. Because like I said during the match, like, this is such a messy match in a sense, because obviously we had the what happened to Joey Mercury, and some of the other like spills were just pretty.
But
nasty.
I was saying, even before that, Jonathan, it felt to me, and maybe you agree, I don't know, it felt to me almost the entire match, even before that, was rushed. Like, it felt
this was at a frantic pace. Like this is like second. This is a four-way ladder match, second on the card. Like they had to get their shit in fairly quick, and they did, and they did. Also meant like they couldn't really like get their house in order before they could do it. So if they want to do a big spot, they had to do it fairly quickly, which is probably why you got stuff like the Brian Kendrick sliced bread and the Mercury ladder fucking punt into his own nose. You know, that sort of stuff's like in a way. In a weird way, you'd probably say maybe just not have the match altogether because perhaps the contrast would be better with just Regal Taylor and London Kendrick. But it's a four-way ladder match and it has the Hardys in it. Like it gets like it's gonna be of interest anyway, you know. And I do think the whole point was to say like it was to legitimize London and Kendrick as a team. That was the logic behind it because we heard from JBL at the end here. They were taking champions for a year at that point, and clearly like. As I recall, and my knowledge of 06 SmackDown was not great at this time, but the tag teams were a bit of an afterthought because there weren't that many of them. That's why you had M&M and Hardy's over from Raw, essentially, to bolster up this team, this division. And not only bolster up the division, but to actually give London and Kendrick a big win. To actually say, oh no, we are actually happy to keep these as a tag team and treat them a little bit more seriously. And as we will later find out, when they had that ball, they didn't do anything with it. But the fact that they gave them the ball to begin with, they said, you've just beaten the Hardys in a ladder match. That's a big deal. Do with that what you please. And they just didn't deliver on it, which is unfortunate. As Kev would say, perhaps warning signs are there, considering how rotten the matches are. But again, for every negative, like there's a brilliant drop kick, there's a bump and a half and all that sort of stuff. And again, there is a wonderful, like, disastrous chaos to it all, you know. So kind of mulling that over, I'm going to give it a 7 as well, because I think it's a great contrast between this and the LOD match, because the LOD match is less is more, whereas this one is more is less, if that makes sense. Like they've done the overcomplicated
nail on the head,
and,
in my opinion.
Yeah, and it's kind of the same way where like what I wanted more from the SummerSlam match, I wanted less out of this, if you know what I mean. So, and that's my kind of thinking on it as well. So I'm afraid, Foxy, you do get a score of 20 on that one. Please don't hurt. Actually, no, it's not my problem. It's Kev's problem. Never mind. But nevertheless, SummerSlam 92 from Wembley is still leading this current round of Watch Graps.
One thing I will say, look, there's no denying London and Kendrick's athletic ability. Gifted. And like you touched on, Jonathan, some of the moves they did were just gorgeous to see.
Oh, yeah.
London's backflip dropkick is still one of my favorite moves of all time and something I'd love to be able to do. I never will be, but I'd love to be able to do that. And I gave them an extra point from what I was originally going to give them because of the point you hit on. And that is that they did tell the story of the underdogs coming in pretty well. And I got the story. I got what they were trying to do.
Yes.
So that does count for something.
Exactly, because in the context, when you think about it, like, again, the SmackDown, if you were to compare them like for like, at that time, the Raw like tag teams were going to blow SmackDown out of the water. There was no competition. Because if I remember correctly, you also had Booker T's Court, which was Booker T, Finlay, and a few other jobbers here and there. And and then Regal and Taylor kind of merged into those after a while. That was the SmackDown tag team division, was those four people and London and Kendrick. So they had no one to bounce off, hence why you didn't see much of them. But so the fact that they did like draft in two more defined teams that people know and like to put London and Kendrick on a similar pedestal, you know, they kind of had to be done. But like I said, they wanted to make this team realistic, if you like. So
legitimate, yeah.
And that's basically it. So that moves on into my choice, and in a way, legitimacy is the kind of key word here for me, which is why I picked this match. So